Hi everyone, Rebecca the Frugal Resinista here, and today I'm going to show you my version of the resin poured cheese cutting board. I've seen this on Pinterest a whole lot and also on some of the Facebook resin pages that I'm part of, and I haven't found an actual tutorial on it, although I'm sure there's one out there. So I thought I would just show you guys my version today and how I do it on a budget. This is a cheese cutting board from Big Lots that I got for $9, and honestly, if this is something that works out really well, I'm going to probably do it again, but with nicer wood. This is acacia wood, and it's not bad, but I don't know that I trust, you know how they put the different pieces of wood together? I don't know how I trust how well this is going to stay together since it was a Big Lots find, but we're going to try it and see. So I'm going to start by taping things off, and I will show you guys how I tape and then also how I finish the back of this so that you get an even pour without drips on the back. Here we go. This little hole is being a little trickier than I anticipated it being, but that's okay. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is mix my resin. As always, if you've seen me before, I'm using Stone Coat Countertop's Quick Coat resin, and it gives me about 15 minutes working time. I'm also going to be using my favorite colors because since this is the first time I'm doing one of these, it's going to go in my own kitchen. So I'm back to my comfort colors for today, and I'll mix the resin and we'll get going. Here is what I'm going to be using. Apple Barrel White, which was $1.99 at Walmart. Testors brand enamel paint for model airplanes, trains, and things for $1.99 at Michael's. Craft Essentials acrylic paint. This is a Michael's brand, and this was 99 cents. That is Sea Mist. I'm sorry, this Testors was metallic gold. And then I'm going to be mixing an Apple Barrel English Navy that I got for 50 cents at Walmart with my Pearlex that's in blue green. That was from Hobby Lobby for $4.99. I love mixing this with the greenish blue with a darker color because it just adds a really cool depth. So I'm going to use those, and then I'm going to be using gold glass pieces from Dollar General that were $3 and clear mirror glass pieces that were $5 from Michael's, but that I always get with a 40% off coupon. And one other thing I do is, because I'm using my favorite colors and I can do it how I want, I actually took an empty one of these and I mixed those two stones together because it's just my own favorite combo. So I'm not going to try one and then the other, they're just going in together. I will top off the stone part with this diamond dust. This I got on Amazon. And this is so cool. It just adds really sparkly effect to whatever you're doing. It's teeny tiny little bits of glass. So that will be sprinkled on. I also reuse my pour cups. So these are not the colors I'm using. These are already dried in. But you can absolutely reuse your pour cups once they've dried as long as you're not measuring into them. So I will measure my resin in equal parts into these, and then I'll just pour some into each cup, and then I'll put my colors in. I'm going to use my stick and go over the edges of this and in the hole with my clear so that when I pour the colors, they'll be able to run more smoothly off the edges. Alright, I am super happy with how this turned out. This looks so cool. I will give you guys a close-up in a second here. But what I wanted to tell you real briefly was a couple of things. My stones I only put along here because I want to be able to grab the handle without poking myself. So that's one thing. I also made sure that these stones right here were past the edge of my tape line so that I don't peel up stones and make the edge of this look all weird. One really cool thing with deciding to add the glitter into the clear and then pour that is that the glitter kind of mixes through things and stuff, and after I had painted the white underneath, some of that white is showing, but it gives the whole piece this really amazing depth because you can see different layers with the clear on top. Also, with the gold enamel paint, I hit it a little longer with my blowtorch and it breaks it up and makes some of it float to the top. So there's a whole bunch of depth. The only thing I need to do still is make sure I have a couple spots in here where I don't have resin. So I'm going to make sure I get resin in the hole. The edges look pretty good, and I will, within the next 20 minutes, peel this tape because this is going to start drying quickly, and I don't want to wait to peel my tape until it's really hard to peel. So we'll pause for 20 minutes and then I will show you the next part. All right, it's been actually about 30 minutes. Wasn't watching the clock and the kids came home from school, so I had a few minutes to finagle things there. I love how this is turning out. I'm going to peel this tape so that I have my line, and then after that I'm going to let things dry a lot more before I peel the back, and I will show you how I do that once it's cured more. After staring at this for a few minutes, I love this so much, but one thing was bugging me and I knew I would not be happy if I didn't fix it. I actually don't like my tape line. I put the tape line there because I know that I personally tend to use too much resin, and I was afraid it would just go all over and I wouldn't have wood surface, but it didn't. It actually did really well. So I mixed a little bit more of my Perlex into a really tiny cup of resin, and I'm just going to pour it right along this edge and then use a couple more stones right around there. It's still going to be pretty straight. I just don't want it to be that straight tape line. So the one thing is, since I took the tape off here, I might get a little bit of this on the wood underneath, but even if that's the case and if the wood's not covered by the tape, it's not hard to get it off. So it might be a good way for me to show you guys how to get the resin off with tape and without. So we'll do it one more time. So much better. I'm so happy with this. Sometimes you just have to tweak things and fix them at the end just because you can tell that it's going to look better. So I like that this looks more like a wave now because all of this looks so wavy and ocean-like, and I'm really happy that this is doing the same thing. I might add just a tiny bit more, not to make it go much farther this way, but just to give it a little more depth. And we're going to let this dry all the way, and then I will show you guys how I take the tape off. All right, let's get the tape off of this thing. First of all, I love this. I'm so excited. I'm going to lift this up a little closer so you guys can see some detail. I know I'll give you a full close-up later, but this is really cool. Also, this mess is amazing, and this is going to go into my pile of resin that I use for jewelry. So let me move that out of the way. Here's my tape. What you can do is you can actually use your blowtorch and just very lightly heat up these drips, and the tape should peel off really smoothly. That counts for if you've just poured, like I have. This is about an hour now that this is cured, and this also counts days later. You just get this warm and you should be able to peel it off. So let's speed it up and do it. Now I'm going to take my razor blade and just very lightly scrape along these edges to get it completely smooth. As I said, here's the drip that formed because I had taken the tape off. You can do the same thing with this that I did the other way. I'm going to heat it very carefully because it's on wood and scrape it off with my razor blade. Is finished. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I will give you guys some close-ups and take some photos. And that is it. Thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. I'm so glad you joined me. Thank you to all of you who continue to watch. If you haven't subscribed, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. Have a good day.